Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures, where we'll be talking and reviewing action figures from different manufacturers. Today we're going to be having a closer look at the new G.I. Joe Classified Series figures. This is, of course, General Clayton Abernathy Hawk, or codename Hawk. This is number 103 in the G.I. Joe Classified Series. As you can see, we have a box that I really do not like. I do not like these boxes. You cannot see what you get in the thing. So, I mean, this is really bad for me. This is something that I'm happy that Hasbro got rid of. Of course, you can see the box under all its different shapes, size, and the sides of it. But personally, I really hate these boxes. I think it's a bit of a shame. This is the only good part about this figure. So, before we dive into it, let's dive into the history of this figure. So, of course, this is the one from my Mint in Box collection. And this is General Hawk from 1986. Now, this figure does have a personal attachment to it due to the fact that I was in the US in 1986 and I was looking, because I was already a collector then, of G.I. Joe, and I was looking for the G.I. Joe figures. Now, my father asked me where did I wanted to go to in New York. I mean, if you're a G.I. Joe comic book fan, you would want to go to where G.I. Joe has the headquarters, but it's a bit complicated. So the second best place to go to after that is to go to Coney Island. So on the way to Coney Island, there was a small guy, booth on the side of the street, and the two figures that I purchased from him is very funny. One was, of course, General Hawk, and the second one was Serpentor with his chariot. It was funny that this little guy had this little booth had only these two figures, and these are the two figures that I wanted to have and get them as the both leaders of Cobra and G.I. Joe. So let's put this aside. As you can see, I mean, the figure looked really great. 1986 was one of my favorite lines ups of the G.I. Joe and the American Hero line. There's also some other funny parts about it, about the history about this figure. As you can see, General Hawk on here has brown hair. Okay, the figure also here has brown hair. Now, the reason they wanted to do that, because the original Hawk, who came out in 1982, was blonde. As you can see in the comic book here, you can see General Hawk is blonde and not brown hair. The thing is, Hasbro was a bit frightened that if they would do another blonde character, because we had Duke, the people or kids would have a problem identifying the different figures and mixing up General Hawk with Duke. So this is the reason why the toy went with brown hair instead of blonde. So now that we did a bit of history, let's have a closer look at what we're going to be getting in the box. Of course, the old packaging with this non-blister cards would have this kind of box in it, who's a bit not the best thing. You could say you would want to keep it to store up your extra accessories, but personally it doesn't really work for me because it's way too big. So of course we have two pistols for General Hawk. We have his helmet. Oops. We have two goggles for having his head on it and on the one of the helmet, and then we get a grenade launcher and a shotgun, and of course we're going to be finishing by the figure. Now, personally, before getting into much of the details, I really don't understand why Hasbro went on with Gung Ho's rifle, because it makes no sense to give him a grenade launcher. And here we have the shotgun, who is given with what's her name? CoverGirl. So don't understand why for we're going with this. I can understand that the fight card will be talking about him leading from the front, but those two weapons do not make much sense. Now, the figure itself has some interesting upgrades. As you can see, they decided to give him a bit of white hair over here, some white hair over here, give him a bit of a Nick Fury kind of design. Now, personally, I really like the details that you have on the vest. I even find the wedge ring for a regular toy pretty interesting. on it. As you can see, there's a lot of details about it. There's a lot of similarity with the original figure, so that does work for me. The US flag, the G.I. Joe logo over here. Okay, sorry, it's going to zoom in. So there we are, as you can see. So the figure itself looks pretty decent, and I like the new touch of wanting to improve on the original version. Now, personally, as I was saying about the weapons, as you can see on the original figure from 1996, you have the helmet, you have a pistol, of course you have the second pistol that is not removable on the 1986 version, and you have a backpack. Now, we all know that Hasbro is trying to save money and doesn't want to put money in making other weapons, but I'm just wondering, why did Hasbro, instead of giving us this, why not give us the weapons and the backpack that were with Grunt? I mean, this would have made more sense as a weapon. I mean, giving him the laser rifle would be a huge callback to the cartoons, and giving him a basic backpack where you could hook on all the weapons like it was made to be done here. I don't understand. I don't understand why Hasbro didn't go with this. I mean, they have it. Why not get these weapons and use the molds for them? You have these weapons. I mean, give them this. This would have made way more sense than what we got with this figure. Now, let's give him up and let's have a bit of a talk about, do I believe this is a collectible item? Do I don't believe it's a collectible item? And what are my final thoughts about this figure? Now, is this a collectible figure? I would say yes and no, because personally, I would be more excited to see him coming in the retro line, due to the fact that the packaging would look more a bit like this one here. Of course, which are going to give him a look with his goggles directly on his face. But this would be a more interesting thing. These boxes were really not liked at all by the collectors, and that's why Hasbro went back to the blisters. This started out doing back the blisters with the Star Wars figures. Now they've been doing it with the G.I. Joe figures. So, of course, it makes a lot more sense that you would be waiting for this. This figure did sell out pretty fast. In Europe, it's not available anymore. If you would want to purchase this figure, you will have to go to secondary markets to be able to purchase it. And, of course, it would come in a bit more expensive. Now, of course, I didn't talk about the pricings. Of course, this is a regular figure who was selling for $24.99 in the US and for €29.99 in Europe. So that would be the part of knowing this, and this is what I'm saying. It could be a collectible because this figure is kind of looked after in Europe due to the fact that Hasbro Pulse doesn't have it, and I do not believe that there's going to be any restock. But I would wait. If you have this figure, good for you. If you don't have it, maybe wait for Hasbro to come out with this version in retro line, so you could be able to pick it up. Now, my final thoughts on this figure are the following. Now, I think they did a good job. I like what they did. I don't like what they did with the weapons that you get with this figure. I think the weapons are a poor choice, and that's really sad they did it. I like the improvement, and this is why I'm going to give this figure an 8 out of 10 for this review. So that's going to be it for the review of my G.I. Joe Classified General Hawk figure. I hope you liked the review. If you did, please leave a like, share, comment in the section underneath about it. If you have any suggestions or any other videos that you would like me to make, or any subjects that you want to talk about, you can leave them in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, it helps it grow, and it's for the future project that I will be explaining soon of how I want to build up the lair and being able to expose all these wonderful figures into a barn, but that's for a later time. So I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, I wish you have a fantastic day, and I will see you then. Bye.